Bruno Fernandes has been one of the best Manchester United players I've seen while supporting Manchester United. In this video, I want to have a conversation about Bruno, his future at the club, and ultimately just giving him the respect he deserves because Bruno, a criminally underrated player. I mean, I don't know where to begin with Bruno, really. I mean, let's talk about what he did on the pitch for Manchester United. He's a world class player, and I know a lot of fans are kind of coming to that credit now. And I've been someone who's been very critical of Bruno Fernandes. But if you look at what he does on that Manchester United pitch, there's been many players over the years that have come to the club. I'm not going to mention any names, but haven't really cared enough about the shirt. And you look at Bruno Fernandes from day one, he hasn't got below 20 goals and assists in a full season at Manchester United. Forget about his output, just look at his desire and quality on the pitch. And I think, listen, a lot of rival fans, they don't really criticise Bruno anymore. For me, he is the best number 10 in the league. He's better than Wirtz, he's better than Odegaard, he's better than Eze. In my opinion, he's better than the players like Cherki and these sorts of stuff. There's no number 10 really in the league that can chat to Bruno, in my opinion. I think what he's done in this United team, especially this season, I mean, 12 assists and 5 goals, and I think 19 games or something like that. He needs 9 more assists in 14 games to break the record, and he would be a player that deserves it. I think the chance created way more than any other player in world football. And there's not many players that Bruno can, not many players that can do what Bruno does if you put him in this United team. And it's been such a turbulent sort of career he's had at United. He's been through permanent managers, interim managers. But ultimately, the one player that has stayed consistent all over that is Bruno Fernandes. And I think he is very underrated. And I think because he flails his arm around, he chats back to the referee, he's really sort of a whinging player. I think that does kind of affect him. But if you look at what he does on the pitch, he's absolutely fantastic. And we are really getting to see the best of him now, which we know we've seen before. And under Michael Carrick, I think he's been fantastic in the games. Got an assist against, 2 assists against Fulham. Had a very big part to play against Arsenal. Had a very big part to play against City, and I think his energy is fantastic. And I think he is one of those players at United that I would love to see him win much more. Obviously, he's made it to 2 Europa League finals, 2 FA Cup finals, a Carabao Cup final, and only left it with a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup. And I think going into next season, he's not one of those players that you build around as such because he is 31 or 32. But he's one of those players for me going forward under a new manager. I would love to see one more season from him in the Premier League. I think if United are going to be challenging, which I don't think they will be next season, I would love to see him be a part of it. And as I said, I've been critical of Bruno. I think at times in the past few seasons his performances haven't been great. But you look at someone there who universally puts in gets the output, gets the goals and assists, and ultimately is a world class player in my opinion. As I said, you look at sort of the stats this season, 12 assists. That's 5 more than second place in Turkey. And you look at when he got his actual first assist, it was in October against Liverpool. So for the first more or less a month and a half of the league, he didn't get any assists. So he's an insane goal output. He's a player who works tremendously hard for this team. His quality on the ball is amazing. What he can do now is, in this number 10 position, he can feed sort of the likes of Cunha and Burmo and Sesko and Ahmad that are ahead of him. He can still got a wonder goal. I mean, the goal he scored against Bournemouth was fantastic. And yeah, I think for me, he's been definitely, if you look at across 6 years at the club, given me some very, very good and happy moments. If I go back to sort of his goal against Bournemouth, world class finish. Look at his performance in the FA Cup final, fantastic. And yeah, he's someone who just gets the club. And I think a lot of people have been wrong about Bruno, and I think this needs to be said in terms of he is a criminally underrated player amongst United fans. And I think now, we've seen enough for Bruno over these 6 years. If we look at some of the stats that he's had since being at Manchester United, you're going to be blown away because his output has been ridiculous. And I know at times he might try a ridiculous pass, 40 yards, and it might not work out, but some of the nice intricate bits of play, and I think he has toned that down a little bit. He's someone who don't make that 40-yard pass anymore. He's more likely to play intricate play, and his link up and the players that he had ahead of him have been very, very good. So yeah, his career at United, first season 12 goals, 8 assists, and he come in January, by the way. Second season 58 games, 28 goals, 18 assists. Third season 10 goals, 13 assists. Fourth season 14 goals, 13 assists. Last season, 19 goals, 18 assists, 37 goal contributions, and this season he's on 18 goal contributions in 30 games. And I think one thing that's very underrated about Bruno, yes, he had an injury this season and he missed three or four games with a hamstring injury, which is insane, but he's someone who is very, very reliable. I think Luke Shaw, I believe, is the only sort of United player that has played more minutes than him this season, or maybe Dallo. But he's definitely in among the top sort of players for Manchester United. And as I said, I believe he is the best attacking midfielder in the league. And not in terms of output, just what he gives to this United team. And in the period that we've been in, I don't think there's many players like him. As I said, his output's brilliant. His quality on the ball is fantastic. His work rate is second to none. His defensive ability is very good. And in the midfield too, I don't know what Amarim was doing, but you just weren't seeing the best of Bruno Fernandes. Like, he was struggling in that position, and now we are seeing the very best of him. And as I said, he hasn't won enough at this team. He's a player who, for me, deserves to go and win a Premier League at this club, and I think he will probably leave at the end of next season. Hopefully he gets to stay another season, and hopefully we can win. But we're not going to win a UCL, but if we can, Bruno Fernandes would be that guy that's deserved it. So listen, that is just a shout out. I think, as I said, I never thought Bruno Fernandes would be sold, and I don't think he should be sold. But the only reason why United were considering it is because the 100 mil they can invest heavily into other parts of the squad. And that's why I think they were considering it. But Al Hilal, 100 mil, 700k a week, he declined it to stay at Manchester United, and that just shows his love for the club. United obviously wanted to sell him, but he decided to stay. But yeah, what an important player for United this season. We wouldn't be where we are today, and that's not even in a great position really, but we wouldn't have the trophies and the great moments that we've had, in my opinion, without Bruno Fernandes. And you look at all the managers that have been at the club, and the quality from Bruno Fernandes has remained the same, and his mentality and his work rate. As I said, you look at the Carrick, 4 assists in 3 games in the Carrick. Like, in the last 5 games at United, he's got 6 assists. I'm running out of words to describe Bruno Fernandes. His performance against Fulham was brilliant. He just knows what to do. He's a very smart, intelligent player, and I can't wait to see if he does stay next season, and I hope he does, because again, hopefully we can get a Carabao Cup. You never know, potentially challenge for the Premier League depending on what happens. But any manager would love to have Fernandes, and I think if he is in an Arsenal team last season, they go on to win the league, because he is that sort of level of player. Let me know your thoughts.